Good morning, everyone. I'll say it while I can. Okay. Where are we? So, fear has two meanings. Forget everything and run. Or face everything and rise. I can remember when I was a kid growing up in West Palm Beach. We lived way out in the sticks because my father was a country boy and that's what he wanted for the rest of us. But the thing about that part of the world is they have a lot of insects. Well, we had a house that had eaves all the way around it. And these were great places for what is called a dirt dauber to build its nest. I didn't mind dirt daubers because, well, they just built little nests that they had spiders in that then became food for the eggs they laid of their own kind that would wake up and have lunch. But what I did mind was these monster spiders that hung out up there. And it was always a challenge for me to have to get up on the ladder with a putty knife to take down these dirt daubers' nests and then wash the dirt off, and to have a spider cornered and with its egg nest trying to make sure whether I was foe or friend. Needless to say, it was a challenge for me to do, and I had to do it quite often because the dirt daubers would replace their nests. So, needless to say, I had a fear of spiders. Okay, so forget everything and run? Couldn't do it. Face everything and rise? With great trepidation. So I decided I'm going to move to a part of the world where I don't have to face big spiders. So here I am. Tarantulas, they don't bother me. I can go out in the desert and encounter all kinds of tarantulas. So now to get into this, just so that you feel easy that you're not the only one who has fear. So regardless of the specific fear, choice of whether to face it or not can easily be determined by answering a few simple questions. Does this fear prevent me from being the best version of myself? Does this fear keep me from doing the things that matter to me? And does this fear hurt my overall well-being and health? So, if the answer to these questions is no, it may not be worth the energy to deal with it. I mean, after all, if you have a fear of clowns, unless you work in a circus, you're probably going to be okay. But if the answer is yes, then the suggestion is that you need to see the fear needs to be faced. Okay. So, what's the best way to face fear? Exposure. Not run away from it, but exposure. But does that mean you have to do it all at once? No. But like Robert Frost said, hey, the only way out is through. Face it. So imagine doing it in increments, bits at a time, so that you then have a sense of, I can do this. It's not going to overwhelm me. But you need to realize, too, that there's going to be the inevitable discomfort when you do choose to face your fear. What if you're married to your fear? That's another story. We won't go into that today. So, avoiding, we all know, can sometimes work like a charm. And then again, we know that if we look at it and see it doesn't work always, and it doesn't always work in your best interest, then we see it isn't always a helpful strategy. Because you see, there are people you have to talk to. There are situations that do need resolution. You need to make a decision. You need to set a boundary with someone or a situation. You need to be visible for clients and to grow your business or to change your profession. You need to have the confidence to use your voice, speak your truth, make yourself heard. And really that just translates that you need to have the self-worth to stand up for yourself and look after you. Some have said that today's topic would have great relevance to women because in this society in which we live, to try to be a success as a woman puts you up against a lot of potential resistance and interference. So just take into account. This could be meaningful for you. But one of the things that I have found for me in my life, because of course I have encountered other fears as I've gone along, is that I have to have some kind of an identity that allows me to recognize there's a part of me that's capable of facing any fear. So to be able to get connection with that part of me, then, well, just to mean I had to be able to name it. First I started out with hire Clark. Well, after all, pretty close to being me, right? But a little better. But then I finally shifted it over. I shifted it over and I said, okay, this is my wise self that I'm going to find and actually connect with so far as an identity. So, in making connection with my higher self, I realized, okay, this wise self is a much older version than me. It's seen everything. It's experienced everything. And it knows that everything always works out okay. Do I know that? You got to be out of your mind. The self that I used to rely on, and at times I find myself still doing, comes to the worst case possibility because that is the way it was trained. So then I come to realize, okay, wait a minute. This is not my wise self, because my wise self, when I connect with it, it's calm, it's confident, and it has a deep sense of happiness. In times of fear, uncertainty, and difficulty, this wise self is what gets me where I want to be. That means being able to face the situation and know that even if it doesn't show up, it knows everything is going to work out well. So, sometimes I ask myself, what would my wise self do in this situation? And often I find picking up the phone, calling the person that there's been some sort of ill ease and having a direct conversation about it and getting a resolution with compassion and clearing the air. Is that always easy? If you've ever tried it, you know it can be, but most of the time it's going to be, you need to take breaths as you go along with it. Okay, making a decision because everything is changeable, rectifiable, easily solvable. It's as if my wise self knows she, he, it can't make a mistake. Just do its best and it will manage whatever the outcome is. And many times we're going to find that what we suppose is going to be the outcome, it won't even be there at all. Something else will show up in its place, which you would have never seen had you have not had the confidence in your wise self to go ahead and face the situation. And what about setting boundaries? This part of me is able to do it with total clarity. So expectations are clear for everyone involved. And I changed the verbiage here just to keep it clean, but not caring about what others think. And using my voice as I need to. And doing things because I want to, not because I feel the need to conform. Now, to me, that's a real challenge. And especially if you're going to get along with someone else that you've been living with for 44 years. It can be a real challenge. Okay, and then using clear communication to get my needs met. It's a funny thing that because I had the opportunity to go through near death a few times, after coming out of it and getting a sense of myself that I had lost, I began to realize I can do this. And I want to do this. And I know that why I'm here has meaning and purpose in the overall scheme of things which my wise self assures me is the truth. So in that, because I do go with what my wise self does rather than the fearful self would like to, and because, you see, I do live this on a daily basis, because to me it comes up on a daily basis. I find that it gets easier and easier all the time. Instead of removing myself and avoiding. So I share this with you that fear can be your greatest friend if you will come to recognize it's something that you have imposed on yourself, and the disguise is the imposition, and the reality of it is the opportunity to grow. So again, look at it any way you want to, but do look at it and realize it has tremendous potential for you, male or female. The opportunity is there. Thank you very much.